but I will say this. Absentee is okay because absentee ballots, excuse me.
President Donald Trump was on Sean Hannity's show last night and did not sound good. I'm going to get to a couple of clips here. I'm also going to show you a clip where Trump clearly avoids a question about his recent testing. And I'm also going to show you what CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta said about this. First up, here are a couple clips during the Hannity interview where Trump could not contain a cough.
Well, I didn't even want to use them. You know, last time I had a big problem. They oscillated my mics when I had the one debate. We had 3 debates with Hillary, and on I think the first debate, on the first debate, they oscillated the mic.
Will you encourage your supporters to get out and vote early?
Well, I want them to vote, but I will say this. Absentee is okay because absentee ballots, excuse me.
All right. That did not sound good. Now, if he had, just a cold, be no big deal. But he has COVID-19. He still has it. It didn't just go away. It's only been maybe 10 days since testing positive the first time. Less than that if you count since it's been public. But yeah, 7-10 days. And I don't know. Judging from that, this man is not better. Now, it gets even worse because when asked about has he tested negative, he just avoids the question. And he's asked about this twice.
Have you been tested recently?
Maybe. Yeah, I just saw the doctors today. They think I'm in great shape. I'm in great shape.
Did you test negative?
And I'll tell you, I took this Regeneron. It's phenomenal. And Eli Lilly has something very comparable. It's phenomenal. And it's a whole new day. It's a whole, and if you go back a few months, nobody ever even thought about this stuff. We came up with it.
Have you had a test since your diagnosis a week ago?
Well, what we're doing is probably the test will be tomorrow, the actual test, because there's no reason to test all the time. But they found very little infection or virus, if any. I don't know that they found any. I didn't go into it greatly with the doctors. We have these great doctors at Walter Reed.
They found very little, if any. You're telling me if Donald Trump tested negative, he wouldn't be tweeting about it, telling Sean Hannity about it? No. They, of course, are testing him every day because he's the president and he had coronavirus. They want to know his status. So he definitely is still testing positive based on being asked about it 3 times in this interview and not directly answering the question. To have this lack of transparency about the health of the president, I mean, it's not surprising at all, but people that support him should understand, if this was, say, Barack Obama, wouldn't you be freaking out? Wouldn't you be angry? Wouldn't Fox News be all over this? Of course they would. Unbelievable. Now, let me play this reaction from CNN. They had on Dr. Sanjay Gupta, and he reacted to this after hearing it for the first time.
You know, last time I had a big problem. They oscillated my mics when I had the one debate. We had 3 debates with Hillary, and on I think the first debate, on the first debate, they oscillated the mic. Well, I want them to vote, but I will say this. Absentee is okay because absentee ballots, excuse me, absentee ballots are fine.
What do you hear there, Sanjay?
Well, he sounds congested still, and yeah, I hadn't heard that before. It's interesting because he's obviously still just 7 days out, 8 days out from when he first developed symptoms, so he'd still be in that period for sure. He's also, my understanding, is still on the steroid medication, which usually act as a very potent anti-inflammatory. So, that could be masking whatever symptoms he does have. So as you start to take him off steroids, it's worrisome. He still sounds sick. And it's not surprising, as you say, John. I mean, it's not even been a week since he was essentially medevaced from the White House to Walter Reed. So they've got to take care of him. He's got to take care of himself. I mean, this is just anybody. I think you don't need to be a doctor to be able to tell that. And I am really worried about these steroids. He's off the other meds. It sounds like the remdesivir. He got a single dose. It sounds like the monoclonal antibodies. Just to reiterate, the steroids don't treat the virus. They treat the inflammation in the body. But once you take the steroids off, they typically are a 10-day course. We looked at the recovery trial, which is where this was trialed. 10-day course, 6 milligrams a day. When you come off the steroids, that inflammation may come back. It just may be that he's masking symptoms right now. So they've got to keep a close eye on him. I mean, this isn't political intrigue. This is just decent humanity at this point. He sounds sick, and he's 74 years old, and this is a serious disease.
There you go. This is a man who is 74, is overweight, unhealthy, gets the virus. It's not just going to go away magically with some treatments, regardless of what they are. There is no cure for this virus. So yeah, they can treat it as best they can, but they can only do so much, and they can only mask the symptoms for so long. This is why they didn't want to have an in-person debate. The debate that Trump said he's not going to be part of now because it's being done virtually. What are they supposed to do? They're going to have that man on stage in front of a moderator and Joe Biden in the crowd? Are you kidding me? So this is not over. I know it seemed like, when Trump got back, he put a couple of videos out. Oh, everything's great now. He didn't look great in those videos. Still doesn't sound great. He's putting out videos now. Still doesn't sound great. They're putting on mountains of makeup on his face. And from this interview last night, it sounds like he's getting worse. Can you imagine a scenario where he is actually airlifted back to the hospital? If he just dealt with this seriously from the start and sat back, took doctor's orders, allowed himself to get the treatment that he needed and the healthcare he needed in the hospital, instead of rushing it and rushing back, he may have gotten better sooner, and may have gotten over it completely. But at the same time, he may not have. And regardless of what he did, it's a virus that is going to continue to ravage his body, regardless of if he's in the hospital or if he's in the White House. The only worry right now is who else is he giving this virus to that's around him. But you see here, much like in the case of Herman Cain in July, who went to a Trump rally, the Trump Tulsa rally, got coronavirus, likely from there, though it's impossible to know for sure, but likely got it from being in that rally. A week later, said he's feeling great. A couple weeks later, still feeling good. By the end of the month, Herman Cain was dead. So this is the kind of virus that comes in waves. You may feel like you're over it, feel better, and then it comes back, and comes back stronger.